Today, I'm going to be taking a first look here at this Week 11 NFL DraftKings main slate, and how the hell is it Week 11 already? I feel like I was just talking about Week 1 the other day. If this season could slow down here over the last 2 months, I think we'd all appreciate that. But like I always do here on these first look videos, I'm going to go position by position, talking about the plays that are sticking out to me here early in the week, and then we'll wrap up the video by putting together a first look cash lineup and a first look tournament lineup. With that being said, let's dive into this. And we're going to kick things off here at the quarterback position. Now, with 11 games on the main slate here this week, we do have some nice options at the top. The two that I wanted to highlight here were Dak Prescott and CJ Stroud. Dak has truly been lights out ever since the Cowboys have come off their bye. Last 3 weeks here, 3+ touchdowns in every game, 300+ passing yards, 30+ DraftKings points in each of those games as well, and a good matchup to build on that here on the road against the Carolina Panthers. I also want to talk about CJ Stroud here. The rookie is legit. Looks like the Texans got their franchise quarterback. I kind of like this game in general from a tournament perspective, them playing the Arizona Cardinals, and maybe we'll build a little tournament lineup at the end of this video, kind of highlighting that. But my favorite quarterbacks on the main slate here during the initial look are in the upper 5K range, kind of mid 6K range. First is Jared Goff here. I like the matchup at home against Chicago, divisional matchup, and the Vikings are kind of on the trail now of the Detroit Lions. So even if Detroit gets up in this game, I don't foresee them taking their foot off the pedal. Goff notoriously better at home, and a good price there at $6,600. But I think my favorite two quarterbacks, especially from a cash game perspective this week, are going to be Kyler Murray and Brock Purdy. Kyler looked good in his first game back from that knee surgery. You can see there he threw the ball 32 times, 250 passing yards. But what we really like to see is him actually running the ball. 6 rushing attempts last week, 33 yards, ended up scoring a touchdown, hit 18 DraftKings points. That's essentially what we need here to hit 3x value at that price of $6,100. And then Brock Purdy, I know he doesn't have that rushing upside that we're looking for when it comes to our cash game quarterback, but he's just surrounded by weapons. Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, $5,800 here in a good matchup against Tampa, whose secondary has not been good as of late. I definitely don't mind that either. Now, moving over here to the running backs, right away at the top, we got Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler. CMC is pretty much in the conversation week in and week out. We're all aware of that, but I do like the matchup better here for Austin Eckler. I know the Chargers haven't been great at running the ball this year, but Green Bay has not been great at stopping running backs either, and we know the involvement that Eckler has in this passing game. You can see 7+ targets there in each of his last 3 games. Now, I want to talk about Tony Pollard here because I don't know if he's going to see a better matchup all year long. This Carolina Panthers defense has truly been abysmal at stopping running backs this year, but Pollard really hasn't had a game to brag about so far this year. Maybe this is the week. I don't think we can trust him in cash, but for tournaments, I think I will be going there. Now, the big news this week on the running back side of things is Devon Achane is back here for the Miami Dolphins. Raheem Mostert did not practice on Monday. I have not seen an update here on Wednesday. I think he's going to be fine this week, but if Mostert doesn't play, Achane is going to be a lock in not only cash games, but tournaments as well, sitting at a decent price there at $6,600, and we saw what the rookie could do earlier this season. But one of my favorite plays is going to be David Montgomery. He got a little revenge narrative there against his former team in the Chicago Bears. Bears have not been great against running backs this year, especially through the passing game, which might favor Jahmyr Gibbs there, but overall, I think they're going to give Monty some looks here at the goal line this week, try and get him in the end zone, and we can see the upside he offers as well. 37 DraftKings points back in week 4. By all means, he is a ceiling type of guy we're looking for in tournaments. And then the last guy that I wanted to highlight here for this week is Devin Singletary. Now, you can see Dameon Pierce is questionable heading into this week, but assuming that he does not play again here this week, I think we can go to Singletary in cash. Now, I know he hasn't been great this year, but we did see a spark last week against the Bengals, 150 rushing yards, 30 rushing attempts. I mean, we love that when it comes to our cash lineups. 26 DraftKings points, so at $5,300, he was the best value play sticking out to me here early in the week. Now, folks, before we dive into these wide receiver plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would truly appreciate that. We're trying to get Slydog Sports here to 4,000 subs by the end of the year, which is probably a lofty goal, but if you haven't subbed yet and can help us out there, again, I would really appreciate that. Now, for the wide receivers here this week, we got some nice options at the top. Tyreek Hill and CeeDee Lamb. We got to talk about CeeDee Lamb here. This guy has been a volume volume monster since the bye, 14 plus targets in every single one of those games. He's really going with Dak, right? Dak has a good game, CD has a good game, 32 plus DraftKings points here in all 3 games, topping 40 twice, really hard to ignore that. But his price is expensive now too here in the 9K range, so we do have to deal with that as well. But I'm not afraid to go there. I think I like Amon-Ra St. Brown just a little bit better, but overall, I don't think we can go wrong with either one of those guys. In terms of tournaments this week, I do like Cooper Kupp. Matthew Stafford is expected back here in week 11, especially if we can get him at lower ownership. People are going to look at this and go, oh, 6 DraftKings points in 3 straight weeks. Probably don't want to go there. I'll take advantage of that in tournaments for sure. That guy has 30, even 40 plus DraftKings point upside, and we're getting him at a discount compared to basically where he's been in the 9K range or even 10K range on DraftKings over the last 2 seasons. Now getting into the 7K range here, don't mind some of these guys. Devontae Adams, probably going to avoid Thielen in that matchup against Dallas. Evans and Ayuk, I don't mind that game. Puka Nacua, DK Metcalf. But the next guy that I really want to highlight here is Christian Kirk. He's pretty much been a staple in my cash lineup here this year. Back in week 8, he wasn't great, had 8 DraftKings points against the Steelers. Week 1, he had 2, but outside of that, pretty much getting to 14, 15 plus DraftKings points every week, 18 again last week, and that's what we need to hit 3x value at that price, a $6,000. Now, we're going to want to keep an eye on Nico Collins here this week. If he does not play, we can probably go back to Tank Dell or even Noah Brown here at $4,800, who has just flown onto the scene here over the last 2 weeks, 27 and 30 DraftKings points. That comes with decent volume as well, especially considering the price there in the 4K range. And then one other guy that I want to mention here in the low 4K range is Jaden Reed. You're not getting the most consistent volume, but the DraftKings numbers have definitely been there, especially over the last 4 weeks. 11, 12, 7, and 19 DraftKings points. I'll take that all day for a guy priced at $4,000. And then we got the tight ends here. We got Kittle and Laporta as kind of the top tier tight ends on this slate. Certainly don't mind Dalton Schultz there. Kincaid has played a lot better here over recent weeks. You can see there 15 plus DraftKings points in 4 straight games. But I want to highlight Trey McBride here. Looked awesome with Kyler Murray last week. 9 targets, 8 receptions, 131 receiving yards, 24 DraftKings points, and that's twice in the last 3 weeks he's hit 24 plus DraftKings points. The price has definitely come up, but still very affordable there at $4,000 or $4,400. But if we need to save money this week, Tyler Conklin stuck out to me. You can see their numbers, again, not very consistent, but when you're punting at the position, that's what you're going to get. But he is someone who could definitely meet 3x value at that price, maybe even 4 or 5x value. And then we got the defenses here. Honestly, I won't be surprised if we're talking about the Cowboys later in the week for tournaments, going on the road here against a rookie quarterback in Bryce Young. But like we always do on these videos, we're trying to find some value here in the 2K range. And I had 2 stick out to me, first being the New York Jets. I obviously don't love playing against Josh Allen, but the Bills haven't looked great here as of late either. And there's some true talent on the back end here for the New York Jets or the Green Bay Packers. I think they're just a little too cheap at home going up against Justin Herbert and the Chargers. I know the Chargers offense looked really good last week, but they still haven't been the same ever since losing Mike Williams, and you're essentially punting at that position. All right, now let's put together a first look cash lineup here. You're going to start at the quarterback position. I'm going to go down here to either Kyler Murray or Brock Purdy. Let's put in Brock to start things off. Save some cash there if we can. Going over here to the running backs, I'm going to put in Austin Eckler. I'd love to get to CMC, but Eckler really does have a good matchup there against Green Bay. And then I'm going to go down, assuming that Dameon Pierce is not going to play this week, and put in Devin Singletary. I'm moving over here to the wide receivers. Again, I'd love to get to CeeDee Lamb, but Amon-Ra St. Brown looks good at $8,800 as well. And Christian Kirk, I'm going to lock him in at that price of $6,000 once again. So $3,800 left over per player. Let's just go off of... Let's go to the tight end here next, actually, and we could save money there with Tyler Conklin, but for now, I'm going to put in Trey McBride, and let's put in a defense here. Let's just go to the Packers, save some money at $2,300, $4,400 left over. All right, back to the wide receiver position. Let's put in Jaden Reed. I don't know if that's necessarily a lock for cash this week, but like I said, I like how he's played here as of late. Really solid price there at $4,000. $4,800 would put us right at Noah Brown. I don't know if I want to get 2 Texans guys in my cash lineup, but it would make sense this week to play Noah Brown, again, if Nico Collins is out. If we pivot off of McBride there, go to Tyler Conklin, that frees up another $1,500, so we could pivot off of Reed, maybe go up and pivot off of Singletary, but let's try Noah Brown here, $6,300. I don't know if I necessarily love any one play in that range. We could get to Tank Dell, I suppose, but then we're still sitting with 2 Houston guys. Overall, we're going to need to do some digging on the cash side of things here for this week, but that's the first look lineup. Now, let's put together a first look tournament lineup. Talked about that game between the Texans and Cardinals. Let's go down to Kyler, though, and kick things off here with him. Just having that rushing upside is always nice when you're looking for a ceiling score. And let's pair him up with Trey McBride right off the bat and run it back with a cheaper wide receiver here in Noah Brown at $4,800. Again, assuming that Nico Collins does not play this week. And now we're going to go over to some running backs here. I really love the revenge narrative here with David Montgomery. Let's put him in. And I know that Tony Pollard has just failed us week after week, but that matchup, again, I don't know if he's going to get a better one all year long. And then I'm actually going to put in Devon Achane there as well and pair him up, do a little stack with the defense playing against the Las Vegas Raiders at home. All right, $5,900 left over per player. I'm going to put in Cooper Kupp here. I do like this price at $8,100. $3,700 left over. We don't talk about wide receivers here in the 3K range during the first initial look. Curtis Samuel, though, has been a guy to be able to get 4x value this year. You can see there 3 straight weeks he had some solid numbers. So I'm going to put him in there for now. That's by no means a lock, but I do like the rest of that tournament lineup. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great week here, folks. And in the meantime, I'm out of here.